Everyone, welcome back. I realize that it's been a couple weeks since I posted. Apologize about that. There's been a lot going on in my life. I think I lost 2 subscribers. I'm not too concerned about it. I don't have that many right now, but apologize to those people that decide to not stick around. Understand, you probably already have so many people that you're subscribed to. So, and if the content doesn't match or whatever misalignment there is there, but I recognize the world that we live in today, as I've discussed time and time again on this channel, has really been gamified in the worst way possible. What do I mean by that? What I mean to say is that we as human beings, we're not machines, number one. We're not robots. We live in a culture right now that has been shaped for the worse over the course of the past 10 years. I'll start with this. Probably get some hate for this, but with the sissy baby president we currently have been dealing with for the past 10 years, 11 years, I guess technically, since he's been, he started as a candidate. And then to follow that up, we had COVID. And that hurt the culture of our society deeply. We're much more isolated. And now we have AI as well. And that's replacing people's jobs. It's replacing whole sectors of the workforce out there in a really negative way. And on top of that, as humans right now, we have this propensity to build these systems when people are looking for jobs and things are getting increasingly harder and harder financially, day by day, even if you do have a job, right? As costs go up, if you have a family, whether you're alone, depends on how much you're earning, right? But what used to be able to make 5 years ago doesn't cut it today. It just simply doesn't. So we all internalize all this information. We recognize that we're right for the way we feel, but when it sits there chronically for long enough, we start to question ourselves when we should absolutely not do so. And this phenomenon goes on a lot. When we attempt to analyze an ongoing situation without additional information. I guess you could say a differentiator of sorts. When all of it seems all the same, depending on what it is. I mean, if we were talking politically, a lot of the stuff is different, but it ultimately does come down to just building fire after fire. So we get caught up in all the minutia of everything and never really get to the undercurrent of it, the unspoken bit of what we all feel. We're not having those conversations with one another. When you combine that with platforms like YouTube, it's kind of a recipe for disaster because we're all living in our own silos. You have people watching the channel, but not a ton of interaction, right? And I really think that's a missed opportunity. So I'll just leave that part there. But so anyways, my question to you is, how are you doing today? Have things been good for you? Things been bad? Whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're facing in your life, I think it's important to recognize for a moment you're valid for the way you feel. That's number one. But number two, we have to be called into a higher power within ourselves or believe in a higher power. I'm not meaning to judge people when I say this, so please don't take it this way, but I don't know how atheists do it out there. And I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about spirituality, because we live in a relentlessly fierce, competitive world with less and less opportunity, with a joke of a job market, with not a ton of opportunity, as we all I don't want to say we fight each other, but as we are all vying for the same positions. And, there's already been commentary on this that people have put out, for a while, trying to discuss what's happening with this crazy world we live in. But how is it that the stock market is reaching all record highs and none of that gets translated downward? Of course, the trickle-down effect has never really existed, number one. Number two, everything that we're currently experiencing really kind of started in the 1970s and just slowly with time. And really, if you think about it, COVID was a catalyst, as AI was a catalyst, all positioned at the same time, right? Because it was like 2022, 2023, we're still in the middle of the pandemic and AI comes out. And then you have all these people in upper management that are saying, wow, we can get rid of people. We can make our business more efficient. We can make the people at the top more money. To anyone that actually runs an honest to God, humane business, not of just making yourself filthy rich, and then when you get that filthy rich amount of money, being unsatiated and going for more, but to those business owners that decide, I'm going to build a co-op. I want my employees to have a chance at life. Props to you. There needs to be more philanthropy. There needs to be more care. When we commoditize people, we demonize and dehumanize people in a way that I don't support. And that's the hard part about being a thought leader. And like I said, I wasn't using my voice for a really long time, you know. I thought about it over the course of the past 10 years. And it's only, you know, recently in the past couple months that I've really connected with this and put out some videos. And there have been a couple that have gone, you know, semi-viral, mildly viral, you know, got a lot of comments and got a lot of views. So I'm going to keep doing me. You can feel free to keep doing you and what you do. But like I said, I think we're being called for humans to connect with one another on a deeper level, so that everyone has a voice, you know. And I kind of have an idea of what that might look like. You know, I'm prototyping something right now, but suffice to say, I think that's the part that feels so lonely, so alien about being humane, or kind, or intelligent in today's world. I feel like so much of what we experience is so superficial, it's lacking substance, right? We care more about the form than the function, so to speak, the underlying cogs, you know, and be cognizant of those things, you know, and what the world needs, what we put out there. I'm not trying to dissuade people from using their voices with whatever they want to put out there, but I would say that it's on a spectrum as far as how helpful it is, right? At the worst, it's brain rot, and the best, it's philosophical conversation or something that actually connects with the audience. And they're like, man, I know that dude, or man, I can relate, you know, and those are the kind of conversations we should really be having. And like I said, it's by design that YouTube, etc., it's very much a one-sided conversation. So anyways, with that, I think that's all I'm going to put out. This is only like an 8-minute video. Just know that I'll be putting out more content here soon. Things have been really busy for me, so I apologize to my subscribers. I don't know if you have notifications turned on. You may not, so it's going to be completely chance whether or not you're new here. If you're new here, you're welcome to subscribe. You're welcome to follow. There's going to be more to come. If you haven't checked out my other videos, consider clicking on my profile and finding yourself over to the video section where you can view some of my old content. See if it jives. Most of my content is, you know, 10, upwards of 40 minutes, but most of them are between like 10 and 20 minutes. So if you find that palatable, and I do my best to title the videos in a, you know, intelligible way, so that way you know what you're watching, what's going to be discussed, you know, the core theme of the video. So peace and love to you all. Until next time. See ya.